Ladies and gentlemen, I am back talking to you live. See how long I can go. We're sitting on the dock of the bay, watching time roll away. Doot 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 doot. Sitting on the dock of the bay, watching time roll away. Covering Hurricane Florence. She's deadly, you won't be boring. I'm covering Hurricane Florence. She is deadly and damaging. Watch as she rolls in. She's filled with destruction and yep, here we are together, you and I. Is that okay? Are we good? Okay, no? Okay, fantastic. It's just me here by myself talking to you, and that's exciting. We are talking about Hurricane Florence. She's a Category 2, looks like a dragon, Quetzalcoatl head. Quetzalcoatl. He was friends with Ole Peterson. Am I making any sense? No. Why? Because I haven't gotten sleep lately. Hello to you silent lurkers, lurking silently. I smell you. That's not true. Look, it's now a dragon. Remember when I said this is not even my final form? I was not joking. What up, King? Thank you. I've been working hard. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. Yeah, this is. Hello, Denise. Denise. It looks like a dragon. See, you got your dragon's head here, and then you got your dragon wings there, and then you got the body there. Man, this storm is massive, major. And to think, we got 5 more days left of this. Minimum. That is crazy. How are you guys doing today? I remind you, the oceans are crazy as well. Things are just crazy. How are y'all doing today? If you'll notice, we have the outer rain bands starting to move in on Carolina, on the Outer Banks. Do I sound super professional? I read a book on how to sound super professional. Hello, Brittany, and I agree. Everybody needs to stay safe because this is one major tightly wound donut of rain and wind. I think we're at 952 millibars of pressure at the moment. And for anyone who stayed behind, I'm not going to stay behind, shame you. I'm just going to say good luck with your endeavors as Lieutenant Dan to fight the forces of nature. Although, I would like to kick it on over to my own Twitter account to say that Brendan Moses says, you know what? They don't even need to read the advisory. They can just look at the pretty pictures and the Easter colors that show you where the doom is. That's why the Key Messages product was created. It's as straightforward as the National Hurricane Center can get at a regional level. A life-threatening storm surge is now highly likely along portions of the coastlines of South Carolina and North Carolina. And storm surge, which is the number one killer amongst hurricanes, is in effect for a portion of the area. A warning. The greatest storm surge inundation is expected between Cape Fear and Cape Hatteras, including the Neuse and Pamlico rivers and western Pamlico Sound. Life-threatening catastrophic flash flooding and prolonged significant flooding in the rivers are likely over portions of the Carolinas and the southern and central Appalachians through early next week, as Florence is expected to slow down as it approaches the coast and moves inland. Damaging hurricane force winds are likely along portions of the coast of South Carolina and North Carolina as soon as this evening, and a hurricane warning is in effect. Strong winds could also spread inland into portions of the Carolinas. Large swells affecting Bermuda portions of the U.S. East Coast and northwestern and central Bahamas will continue through the week, resulting in life-threatening surf and rip currents. Yeah, it's definitely not a time to go surfing, unless you're a great surfer. So, how are you holding up in North Carolina? Um, as I was just mentioning, you have your main rain bands moving in now. Not the main ones, the outer ones. I'm sorry, I misspoke. That are now trailing over a Hatteras. And remember, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And this storm is a monster. Like, look at these waves. I think it's still 140 miles out. Another huge anomaly off of Antarctica. Well, let's kick on over to our anomaly cam then. Where are you, anomaly cam? It says mimic. There you go. Boom. Let's get a global 2. Locked and loaded is how. Yep. Well, everybody stay safe. I don't want to lose any Asteroid Bike Club members at all. We've been training for this shit. But look at all the moisture. Yeah, okay, so, yeah, whoa, that's a new anomaly. I hadn't seen that one before. Usually you get the zap down. You don't usually get the straight up wire pull like that. But look at all this moisture that's inundating with Mangnut. And then, watch out here. Oh, they zapped. Is that Isaac or Helene? That's Helene they zapped. As she was headed straight north. And Africa got zapped too. Pray that the storm dissipated. Well, that's not how it's going down, I don't think, right now. Right now, we're looking at, where did I put the good one? Dang it. I have too many tabs open, but you guys can see that. What I do with you, good one? There you go. It doesn't look like the storm is dissipating. Yo, yo, yo. Howdy from Blazing Hot, Orlando, Florida. Hello, Florida. It's a SHTF kind of year, I guess. But this thing, look, is it just me or does that look like a dragon? See how it's like the dragon's head is here and then there's his wings? And then there's his... Actually, I'm going to do something crazy. Maybe it's bad to Google image stuff live, but I'm trying it anyway. See, it's like a feathered serpent. And so, that's kind of what it looks like to me. Why didn't I bring it out? I didn't name it Quetzalcoatl for nothing. You know, I just find it fascinating that all the ancient cultures had winged serpent snakes that brought a lot of bad weather. Man, so I've upgraded this from a hurricane to Quetzalcoatl. Now, that's not an official scientific terminology, but if you look at it, snake's head, wings, serpent tail, wind's already hitting us inland. I think there was one that said it was 45 knots. I forget how many knots that is. Let me check. 45 knots. Yep. 51 mile per hour gusts. And that storm is just now approaching. I mean, I still think it's about 140 miles out. And no, don't freeze up on me when I'm live, man. That does not help me at all. How far inland are you? Storm surge forecast remains unchanged. I know that Dada Boo had mentioned that some of the buoys were measuring 25 feet for the waves. A life-threatening storm surge is expected from Florence, particularly along the North Carolina coast between Cape Fear and Cape Lookout. So they're projecting like 10 feet of storm surge. Could be worse. But yeah, I know that one thing I said that had some of the waves that were just off of the coast were 25 feet. So here's right on cue. An important and dangerous aspect of Florence is the tremendous amount of wave energy headed directly into the coast. So, in addition to the pure storm surge, there'll be additional water rise and the battering waves themselves for multiple high tides as the storm slows. 8 months of rain in 3 days. Yeah, this thing is definitely looking like a massive rainmaker. It looks like tighter and bigger than Hurricane Harvey. Where's my good one? There we go. So you can see here how tightly wound this is. I think we're going to see some places get over 50 inches. If this is going to hang around for 5 to 7 days, depending on where it moves to and how slow or fast it moves, I really think there's a chance you're going to get some really major, massive popping high totals. And to me, the big difference between Harvey and Florence is that Harvey came to Houston, which is 45 miles from Galveston, and then sat and dropped rain. This is going to hit and then drop rain in almost the exact same area where it hit. So you're going to have storm surge, river flooding, and then tremendous rain. So, yeah, this is going to be worse than Harvey. That is my total opinion. And that's why I said it's going to be the worst disaster in American history, I believe. And one thing that needs to be pointed out is even though the storm has slowed down considerably to 110 miles an hour, it's grown twice in size. So its wind field is now double and is going to hit the double sides of the coast. And then we're already starting to get tornado warnings along with it. And so, watch, check this out. This was crazy. Where was this? This is Croatia. An entire giant cliffside fell apart, and then it fell into the beach, and so the people went running about. For now, Virginia looks like it's in decent shape, but some people have the storm going north, some people have the storm going south. And here was Dada Boo's seas on Diamond Shoals buoy just busted 25 feet. It's got to be tearing up the beach, likely new inlets cut. What do the skies look like in New York? It totally looks like a dragon. As always, I recommend Cranky's Weather blog, where he breaks it down. I might even look into it later. And this is a cute cat hurricane because we got a smile in between all the madness. Am I right? Stop talking and kiss me, woman. But as you can see, it's making its beeline. It looks like it is now starting to head west, so it does look like it will be approaching the North Carolina, South Carolina border. This was 2 hours ago. You can send it to my email. It is spacecowboy2017@gmail.com. We got some good graphics, but the wind field, like I said, it's twice as big as initially thought. But this hurricane will hopefully bring a smile to your face. How about watching some river gauges? Man, I've been watching river gauges all week. We can watch river gauges right now. Well, these aren't necessarily the gauges. Sunshine here in Louisiana. Well, enjoy it because we are going to be on the lookout with Hurricane Isaac after this is over. The hurricane season does not end with Florence. And so right now we have 80 rivers flooding. I imagine by this time tomorrow we'll see this double already. That is my guess. So that's a lot of rivers flooding, people. And so, look, you've already got these rivers flooding. Minorly. Will Virginia get it bad? I don't think so. Because, it depends. If it goes south, if this thing goes south, then no. If this thing goes north, then yes. Some models have it going north, south, and then north. Here, let me try and find one for you. Where'd it go? Hold on a second. Look at those waves. Okay, now let us do Where's Virginia there? Let us do the European. So this is the European model. We're going to let it run. And that supposedly, once it gets on land, it has no clear steering current. So technically, nobody knows where it's going to go. They have ideas, but most reports have it going south. So Virginia will be getting some rain, but in comparison to everybody else, it won't be that bad. Now, one thing I do want to point out, in most of the model runs I've seen, this thing at some point recollects itself and then comes up back out somewhere near the cove by New England. The rain has been nice in Central. Thank you for sending good vibes out to anybody, especially people on the East Coast. But see how it comes back up? So then in that period, you guys might be getting Virginia rain starting Monday. See that? Monday. So yeah, you guys might get it for 2 days. I mean, this Florence wants to make the entire coast wet. You know, I mean, that's the Euro model. Now let's look at the GFS together. And the GFS, wow. But that rain band right there is capable of dropping 30 inches in one day. Days and days and days of rain. It's a 5-day event. The only bad thing about my constant coverage is I have to keep using some of the same jokes, but I'm so old I can remember when hurricanes were over in 2 days. Now they last 5 days. Isn't that wild? And thank you for thanking somebody. We all need a little thanks sometimes. Man. I'm thinking about, whoa, thank you, Jess Ann. I'm here to win too. Heck yeah. I think things will turn around by November. Thank you very much. And I want to thank all y'all for your support and just being awake and aware. As you know, sometimes it can be lonely paying attention to the things that are real. And this hurricane is very real. Thank you, Jess Ann. Yeehaw. We're already saturated from a very wet August. New Jersey had very bad flooding already. I agree, and it's one of the things about why I like to put together the edited videos, because it shows people that is cool. Jessica. Yeah, the ground is super saturated, and that's why I like to make the edited videos, because it shows you, all the places that have taken damage. And this whole area is super saturated. On this one, Florence doesn't go over Virginia. It actually goes wester. So if you're in Virginia, that would be good news. But Georgia will, depending on how south she goes. And that is the big X factor. This is the NAM. How south she will go, I don't think anybody knows. How north she will go. I wrote out a Cat 3 in Louisiana. I swear it sounded like thousands of demons screeching in the wind. There's a good webcam going around of an oil rig out in North Carolina, and its winds sound like screeching demons. Let me see if I have. Ooh, watch. This one draws a secondary band. But so far, the models are saying Georgia's pretty safe. But at this point, like I'm saying, I don't really trust necessarily where this thing is going. All I know is we got a situation on our hands, and anything can change. But if this just stays over South Carolina and North Carolina, this would be disastrous. Because last time I checked, this storm is over. There's my phone. Look at this thing. Look how massive this storm is. And for the newcomers, it's got its dragon's head, and then it's got the wings, and then it's got the snake body, just like Quetzalcoatl, the winged serpent of bad weather. So, if you need to catch Quetzalcoatl for your Pokemon collection, well, there you go. He's on the East Coast for you. total saturation everywhere. Remember, I've been pointing out there's like an atmospheric river now that goes over the coast and the East Coast. Yeah, I agree. Hello, Evangelina Windsong. Man, you know what I'm gonna. Well, this is the future. What about nuclear power plants? Well, they're in deep doo doo, man. I mean, it's one of the problems with nuclear power is if nuclear power becomes unstable, it becomes very dangerous. And so, yeah, this is going to cause major flooding in those areas. You know, we can have our own homegrown Fukushima. Yeah, your pond is where you at, Holly. Oh, wait. Yeah, I think Holly's in Texas would be my guess. Yeah, crazy weather. But I just want to point out that the sun, because I have a theory at Thor News for newcomers, when the sun acts weird, the weather acts weird, and then people act weird. And so you had a major coronal hole with the solar blossom over here, and now we have a new giant coronal hole that is about to be Earth facing, and you had some, looks like a coronal mass ejection pop off this coronal blossom. What did you just do to me? Don't make me look bad in front of 110 people. There you go. And so that was active and it popped off a bit of energy, which I think will be geoeffective. And then Earth will be in this coronal hole. Hello, troop. And most of the time it's in the coronal hole, we get bigger earthquakes and eruptions of volcanoes. So this is definitely the most interesting time to be alive that I can ever remember. My brother with the Air National Guard just got deployed to NC Coast yesterday. Will be there at least 2 weeks. He'll be in. I will pray for him and thank him for being a badass first responder. I know Glavstone, one of my favorite people of all time, he's in the National Guard, and I want to remind people they too are part of our badasses that protect us in times of need. Yeah, it's rainy all over. We need to start. You know what is interesting though? That when Mangana Hut hit Guam, it didn't do a lot of damage. Do you know why? Because Guam has extremely strict building to build there. They have rules, and so everything has to be built to the highest of standards, which sounds great to me. That's why I wish we'd start building cities of the future. Let us check together what the Weather Channel, thousands already in the dark. And here was my thing about, because I know you guys have been with me. I had a thing where my power got shut off 3 times in a row because my electric company decided to quadruple my bill. I literally had to pay my electric company $500 in 6 weeks when my bill had usually been $50 a month um, for 2 years somehow. I don't know. What I'm saying is that being without power is not fun. And so they have been warning people you could be out without power for weeks. Maui took direct hit from Taylor Swift, first time ever recorded. Well, I'm sure Taylor leaves some damage and Maui will never forget her, but over time it will only make Maui stronger. Hey, KKP, very ominous sky in central North Carolina. How about you? Hold on a second. So, yeah, I mean, this is one of the problems with it is that we're talking power outages for days. Now, could trigger earthquake. And that's not just because if there's one thing I've been talking about, it's how, through winter, this area got hit with 4 nor'easters in a month. And it seems like there's, for whatever reason, Mother Nature continues to pick on this area. I don't know what it is, but I think that we have to keep our eyes on it, and that I wouldn't be surprised if we saw um, earthquakes in the East Coast. I know I did a video back on, yeah, back a couple months ago. There was like a 7 or 6 earthquake back in like the 1900s. Yeah, that's, I do agree that most of my subs are pretty amazing, pretty awesome. That most of them are really cool. Like YouTube is always going to attract people. Because I was thinking of this, like, because I don't get invited to parties much because I'm right a lot. But so like the internet is the only place I can go to talk to people. But I guess it's the same way with trolls. Nobody wants to talk to them in person either. Although they probably get invited to parties more often because people don't mind if you're wrong. That way they can make fun of you. Yeah, Ryan NC, dude. I got a lot of people from North Carolina here. I wish, Ryan, you could come down to Texas, hang out, man. Seem like a cool cat. Bring your guitar. You're here for the long run. I hope you make it. I don't know, Steven Svashini, if you're out there, man, I hope you make it too. This is going to be a bad deal. Oh, dude, I want to visit Colorado. I definitely want to visit Colorado when it's snowing. Yeah, but yeah, we're all worried about the power plants. The nuclear power plants in the North Carolina. And I don't think the hurricane situation is over. Turn up my volume, or maybe I should speak into it. Am I clear now? Sometimes I get too lazy. Not lazy, just distracted, shall we say. What up, Chris? What up, October? And then look at this thing building up the coast. And then we got what? We got this thing, which is going to bring heavy rains to South Texas. Hold on. What is it even like to take out your anger on the internets? If you're mentally impotent in the first place, going to take your anger out on the internet's only makes you that much more mentally impotent. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Some people just love anger. And he's probably just jealous because I'm so damn handsome. You gotta blame God, though. I had nothing to do with that. Heck, I haven't got chubby just so I wouldn't be so handsome. So yeah, this is definitely not a time to let our guard down. Models are showing that Isaac could be a problem in the future, for sure. Let's get back to our mega rain band here. Internal server error. That's not what we wanted. And so, as you can see, the rain bands are now slightly moving over you. What city are you in, Ryan? Or what town? Yeah, it is on the low side. Ominous guys at Raleigh. Yeah, Raleigh's safe for now, but if she moves over Raleigh, they have her floating over South and North Carolina for 5 days. So, man, it's gonna get crazy. Smoke them if you got them. How are you guys doing on supplies? Yeah, I'm ready for the troll age to be over. Well, hello, Beatrice. I like that name. Beatrice. So how are you guys doing on supplies? Like, I'm curious, like, if you're going to stay 3 out of 4 million, if you were going to stay there, what kind of supplies would you buy? Like, how packed up are you? I think they build power plants near the coasts to help them cool down. For now, I mean, if the Euro is correct, DC will get a lot of rain in like 3 or 4 days. If they're not correct, they won't. Gas stations are out in Boone already. Yeah, gas is one of the first things to go. Hopefully, we won't have looter problems. And I think a lot of the areas, you're not going to have looter problems just because it's going to be so floody. It's hard to loot stuff when there's 10 feet of water. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think there are a lot of boat looters. Um, this is all pretty wild and crazy. And I just wonder how long you guys are going to have power. I'm surprised you haven't lost your power yet. I mean, look at the rain coming in. Hola, Chile. Hey, thank you for being here and paying attention. But look at all the. Let's take a second to look at all the moisture that is funneling and feeding into Texas. Whether or not this thing develops into anything, it's going to bring some heavy rain. We got a lot of people from Carolinas in chat. We got 8 gallons of water in the freezer, 2 gallons of Coleman fuel, food, and mayonnaise or mayonnaise have stocked up. I'm Mary Jane. Just remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So you may want to reduce it down to bowls or joints. Definitely don't be doing blunts. You probably don't have enough for blunts because this is a 5-day storm. What a monster of a storm. I agree. That's why I like to bring you guys maximum production, but I love staring at this loop right here. Look at that. I mean, it's a monster. Yeah, well, like I said, honestly, the storm surge is going to be so bad, I don't think anybody's going to be looting. Because you're not going to have people like left over to loot. I don't think. So, this is not going to be the same situation. I mean, it's kind of like I was saying earlier that with Harvey came in 45 miles and then spun around. And for dabs, don't you need some weird drug dealer blowtorch? You know, for dabs, you got to have that blowtorch. And so, I guess the blowtorch runs on propane, so you can do it. But I'm just saying. The pig waste lakes are dangerous. Yeah, the flooding water is going to be gross and dangerous. Yeah, this storm will have lasting effects. And, like I said, the models have Isaac threatening Florida. And who knows what's going to happen? I mean, everything has been extremely majorly wild. Yeah, you do, Thor. Yeah, do what? And I don't know if you guys said, someone had just told us that Maui got hit by Taylor Swift, and she brought lots of wetness, I think. So we got Hawaii getting hit. I mean, tropical storm. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get the letters confused. Sonic the Hedgehog. It reminds me of Quetzalcoatl, the winged serpent. See? He's got his wings, and then his dragon head, and then his tail. And so, if we look here, he's got his wings, his dragon head, and his tail. It's Quetzalcoatl. I named it properly. For sure. Yeah, that's the thing was when those pig farms flood, and then the flood water is going to be pretty rampant, covering major miles. That is going to be, flood water is always disgusting, but it's going to be extra disgusting. What up, Nippy? So yeah, this thing is a major monster, and we got like Ryan's in there. Ryan's staying there. We love Ryan. Ryan is cool. And surfboards. You know, you can have a surfboard to hang on to. Hello, Lady Linus. The Ouroboros. Okay, Jonathan, we got it, man. You know, and repent. I don't know. I don't like that word. No boat, get a surfboard. I'm just wondering what's going to happen next. Oh, yeah, they were talking about the snakes. Are there poisonous snakes? I don't think you're going to have sharks, but I would worry about snakes. Where I grew up, yeah, the winged serpent. It's totally there, man. It's totally there. Yeah, the one guy that's staying in Wilmington, he told me he's got or Pete B told me he's got a kayak. I know that when one of the scariest situations when Hurricane Harvey was hitting Houston was, some people were going upstairs or into the attic to escape. And then they were having tornadoes come in. So you had to decide, because they were saying you can't be in your attic because if the flooding gets too high, you will not be able. This is because I'm trying to cause Tourette's in you guys. You can't be in your attic because if it floods, then you'll get trapped and you have to axe your way out. So then you go to the roof, and then they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, you got a tornado warning. So it was like, do I want to stay in my attic and possibly get flooded out, or do I want to go to the roof and get killed by a tornado? Carve us out some canoes. Well, he better be a fast carver. Better be a fast woodworker. My gut says it's going to be one of those storms that fizzle. The kind where we buy all sorts of stuff and it rains for 1.5 days. Well, dude, my gut has been saying since the very beginning, even in August, that this was going to be a horrible, catastrophic hurricane that is going to be one of the worst disasters in American history. And my track record's been pretty amazing, considering I'm not even a meteorologist. I'm just a guy who notices patterns and stuff. And that, yeah, this thing is going to be bad, man. This storm is going to sit and spin for, I don't know, 5 days. And so, I guarantee you're going to get over 30 inches of rain. I guarantee you that by tomorrow, the river flooding levels will be, right now we have 80, and we will be way past 80. So, yeah, I don't think this thing is going to be good at all. And then the ocean is filled. So, and then we got another coronal hole facing us, so we're going to get earthquakes. And remember, the Mexico volcano has been going off for almost a week. Well, thank you, Tanis. I think I'm going to try and stay on maybe like, well, thank you, Daniel. I'm trying to stay on, what time is it? 11:17. I think I'm going to go get something to eat here in a little bit, and then eat and then come back. So, Tanis, if you're around about hour and a half, I would definitely take you up on that offer. Had a blast. We got to get fun while we can, because once the pictures start coming in and this thing is really bad, it's gonna be harder to have fun. And like I said, I hope that the major landfalling hurricanes is over when this thing is done, but I am not betting any money on it, man. I mean, look how slow this thing is going, and the wind field is major. And thanks, love you too, DM33. Another thing is, I would always keep advice is keeping socks in a plastic baggie. Like, you never, man, shun the non-believers. As a Christian, it's dipshits like you that make our religion Or maybe you were joking about something else. I don't know. Don't shun anybody. But I'm saying, I don't know. Now's not time. I recommend fellow Christians inspire people with their works. Yelling at people with a bullhorn, it's not. It's not my style. It's kind of like, look at science. Science has been screaming climate change in your face for 15 years with a bullhorn. How many people do you think they've converted? Probably not that many. I am on the upside. Yeah, okay, so I was sorry, dude. That's the one thing about comments. They're 2D. I don't want to shun anybody. I wish we could all get along. Worst thing ever, waking up to Waterworld. Yeah, I would have got out of there. I mean, look at this thing. I don't know anybody. That's why I think it's funny. Like, who thinks this thing is gonna be a dud? Yeah, not there. The flat Earth people are usually late, and I still don't see how it affects. I always think it's interesting when I'm doing a video and it's about weather that could be extremely dangerous to a lot of people, and they're like, "The Earth is flat." I'm like, "Well, how does that apply to this hurricane? What does that have to do with anything?" That definitely looks like a winged dragon. That definitely looks like Quetzalcoatl. So I will be back. It looks like a winged serpent. See, it definitely looks. I'm sticking to it. It looks like Quetzalcoatl. See, you got its dragon head right here. Dragon head, and there's its wings, and then there's its tail. So I would like to thank you guys for paying attention and being here. Yeah, it's definitely not a dud, man. And the wind field has expanded. It's almost like 2 states of wind field. Now, instead of one state getting 150 mile per hour winds, you got 2 states getting 110 mile per hour winds. And I'm just curious at the swell of water this thing has been pushing across the ocean. Prediction: the following areas will take brunt: Wilmington, Leland, Wrightsville Beach, Surf City, Outer Banks. That sounds about right. Yeah, I think Virginia's doing okay for now, but it depends on where this thing moves. So I want to thank you guys for paying attention and being here with me. Asteroid Fight Club sandwiches sound great. And I will be back in about an hour, hour and a half. I'm going to keep going all day until I have to fall asleep again. I got 10 hours yesterday, so things should be good. So I want to thank you guys for being so cool and awesome as always. I will continue to follow this for you. And everybody say a prayer for Ryan. We think Ryan is cool as he pulls his Lieutenant Dan, and say prayers for everybody else. And send your footage, please. And who is doing a Lieutenant Dan and staying in there, may you find safety and power and good times somehow through this. And if your power is going to be out for a long time, remember to use protection or stop at third base unless you want to get pregnant. But you guys are cool, and I will be back. And you guys stay cool and hit the love button, baby.